Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah.
And welcome to the Legacy League's the last post-game show of the regular season. As you can see, no Greg Horn. I'm Chris. I'm here with Racine, and we're gonna run with it. We're gonna get into the games, and then we're gonna get into the playoff picture. Is pretty much what everybody wants to hear. They want to hear. I think everybody wants to hear who Racine's gonna pick for the championship. From what I heard, they're probably, and if he's wrong, they're gonna hold it against him, I'm sure, and they're definitely gonna hold it against me. But yeah, anything you want to start off?
Yeah, I guess we can start off with the Flint Lords Army game.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, it's the
Let's get
first
right
game I
into it
saw.
then. All
Yeah,
right, so it seemed like it wasn't much of a game. It seemed like it was a blowout. So you got any thoughts on this game to start?
yeah. At first, it actually started off like a pretty close game. Both teams were going back and forth. Mike Bizzuto kept knocking down threes to start off with, and Jason Hernandez too. He kept going back and forth, and up until like the third quarter, Mike comes up to me. He asked what the spread was. I thought it was gonna be 10. And then from that point on, they completely took over. So I guess they took that a little personally. So it actually turned out it was a pretty close game. But I think what Flint does really well in this game and what they've been doing the past couple of games is the third quarter. They always seem to pull away in their games in the third. So if any team has any chance of beating them in the playoffs, you have to stop them in the third quarter or match their energy in the third. But it's just a great win for Flint and having great momentum in the playoffs. And for Lord's Army, I said this last week again, but I think this performance would have beat or contended with a lot of other teams of the league, but it's just unfortunate that they had to play Flint that day. But yeah, if there's any positives for Lord's Army to bring out from this game is that they played well and it's a great momentum shift for the playoffs.
Hey, it's not often you put up 100 points in this league and lose. So that's you just kind of run into the juggernaut in which Flint is. I mean, what did they have? They had three players score 30 points. That's 90 right there just from three players. So I mean, there's not much you could do with that. Uh, Mike Bizzuto had a great game. They really have three MVP candidates on their team, and Bizzuto, Fink, and Quan. Um, like you said. I mean, turn it on in the third quarter. I think that's a great point. You really gotta, when Flint comes out, you gotta play defense. Um, Once they get hot, it's kind of over. There's really no team in the league I feel like that could compete with them when they're hot. Um, Lord's Army, like you said, I mean, they had three players with 20. I mean, even Jay Velez had 18. So, like you said, that would have been a great performance for pretty much any other team in the league besides probably Flint or TMC. I would say probably the only teams that could have got them out of there with a game like that. So, shout out to them. And Flint's got the one seed, so undefeated regular season again for them. I think this is their third or fourth undefeated regular season too. But we'll get right into the next game. I think the next game was, hold on, let me get this up. Snipe Squad and Street Ballers, which I think, in my opinion, was the game of the week. I don't know what you think, but it was the closest one. 78 to 72 was the final. Snipe Squad pulled it out. What did you see in this game?
Yeah, so I was able to catch a little bit of the end of the game, but Street Ballers, they had a chance to win this game. They had a corner three at the end, but unfortunately missed a three. And Snipe Squad was able to take this game in double overtime, I believe. But yeah, just looking at the stats here, Angelo D'Amato with 25 and Tim Case with 22 and Kyle Cusano with 18. And you have three guys and scoring double figures like that. That's what we want to see, and that's going to be great for the playoffs. But I also would like to see more from the others on the team, like Nick Crescio, Dom Desimoni. We're gonna need to see more from them. Just help out, like the big scorers like Tim and Angelo if they want to have success in the playoffs. And then as for Street Ballers, I like Hojiro Acosta 26, Benji Valentine with 15, Rico Santiago 14, and Josh Acosta 14. Yeah, so it's a lot of good scoring from their team as well, and they're gonna need to have the same players stepping up if they want to have success next week. But overall, it was a great game.
And for Snipe Squad, that locks them into the 3 seed going into the playoffs. I think that gives them a pretty favorable uh, matchup because they could avoid Flint until the finals. So I think that's a good spot to be in. Not that Run TMC would be easy in the semis, but getting Lux Gang in the first round, I think they should probably pull that out. But yeah, like you said, the 3 players in double figures, I think, is really the key to winning games in this league. I think you need at least 3 to 4 players in double figures, and you could pretty much keep up with anybody. Um, Tim Case, 10 for 10 from the field. If the stats are correct, I mean, 100% from the field. You can't do much better than that, right?
No.
But yeah, we'll slide right into from that Run TMC and Lux game. Gang, it seems like it was another Reggie Stewart show with 31 points. Did you catch anything in this game?
Nah, unfortunately, I missed this one, but
Okay.
yeah, just looking at the stats here, I mean, this is what I love to see. Reggie Stewart, your best player, dropping 31. That's what you want to see. And then, you got others contributing. Miles Raymond with 23, Devin Pratt with 23, and Will Hudson with 12. It's just great momentum for the playoffs because you're going to need
Yep.
others to step up and you need your best player to perform. And for Lux Gang, I'm just seeing this Trayvon Jones at 42. So really impressive performance. Teron Hoffler with 15 and Hakeem Trueheart with 14. Uh, I mean Trayvon Jones. I think I've seen his stats and I've seen him in a couple of games. Like he's like their biggest offensive threat. I think it's fair to say he's probably their best player as well. So he's gonna need to continue to put up performances like these, unfortunately. Hopefully not like 42-point games, but like keeping in with 20 and 30, and hopefully you can have other teammates contributing, then they could be a threat in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anytime you have a player that could score 40, I mean, they could get hot and drop maybe 60 and kind of be an upset team in the playoffs. But yeah, Run TMC, another week for them. I mean, obviously, Reggie Stewart, Pratt, Miles, another shorthanded game for them, which seems to be the trend here. Hopefully, that doesn't come back to bite them in the playoffs. Eric Langston obviously needs to show up if they're going to have a chance to win the whole thing. But like I was saying last time I was on the show, Davon Pratt is going to be the key to this team going into the playoffs. I think because you know what you're going to get from Reggie. You're going to get 25 plus points. I don't think he ever really has an off game. He comes and scores. But if you're going to get 23 from Pratt on 8 of 13 shooting, that's going to be I think that's the key to them to going far in the playoffs because you know you're going to get a double double out of Dave Armstrong. Miles Raymond's going to give you anywhere from 8 to 20 points. They need Pratt's got to step up, and then Eric Langston's got to come, and I think they'll be just fine. So yeah, we'll move into the next game from there, which was NLMB and Enterprises Elite, which was another double-digit game. What did you catch this game?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, again, this is another really good performance from Enterprises Elite. It was like another close game, but I think it's kind of the same story that happened in the Flint game. NLMB was able to take over in the third quarter, and that was largely because of Dante Hodge and Christian Jesu. Yeah, Christian Jesu had 24 and Dante Hodge had 27, but they just kept coming down the court and pulling up from threes, and they were going down that night. So if that can happen in the playoffs, like they're really going to be dangerous because Hodge and Jesu, they're probably one of the best duos in this league. I'm not sure if they really have a big three, but as a duo, they could be really dangerous in the playoffs. And Enterprises Elite, I said this last week, Josh Brody, I really like what saw from him the past couple weeks and uh, last Thursday. He had 33, and then you have 16 from Vincent Callahan. So it's just another solid performance from Enterprises Elite, but it's just unfortunate that they had to have a win this season. But nonetheless, it's a great way to end the season, and it's good to see them fighting, even though they had to finish with no wins.
Yeah, I mean, I always respect the teams that show up every week, even when they don't win. They show up. They don't. So I mean, a lot of teams in that spot. I mean, you get frustrated. I mean, players are probably like, I don't know if I want to go. It's kind of a waste of time. But I mean, they show up every week. They try their hardest, and I mean, it seems like they have fun for the most part. But yeah, I mean, this NLMB team is another, I think, is a sleeper going into the playoffs because last year they took the team that ended up winning Yagaville. They only lost by 4 in the semifinals, NLMB. So they were right there down to the end. So I think they're one of these teams. Like you said, it's kind of the Dante Hodge and Christian Dessous show pretty much every week. So if those two are hitting, then I think they could play with pretty much any team in this league. And they're one of the teams that'll probably end up going to the semis, if not even farther. I would think there's a few of those teams in the middle of the pack, like NLMB, Snipe Squad, Get Money. Got to be one of those. Two of those teams got to get to the semifinals. You know what I mean? Because I think we'll agree Flint and TMC are probably locks for the semifinals.
Yeah.
Because they'll end up playing, the two or the lower seeds in the first round, so they shouldn't lose to them. But yeah, I mean, shout out Enterprises Elite. Hope maybe they'll get an upset win in the playoffs. I think if in my opinion, if Enterprises Elite and Syndicate lose in these play-in games, I think Joey should let them play each other the week of the semifinals so somebody could get a win there. I think that'd be a fun game to see because obviously they didn't play in the regular season, but yeah, we'll sneak right into the. Speaking of the Syndicate, we'll get into the Get Money and Syndicate game. I mean, Get Money won by 33. Looked like it was a Kyle Davis show again. Another MVP candidate. He had 36. What did you see in this game?
Yeah, there's not too much to say about this one. I mean, Get Money dominated from start to finish, but I think the key point from this one was that they were really aggressive. Like you said, Kyle Davis 36, Javier McCray with 14, Antoine Coles with 13, DeMar Whitaker with 12. Yeah, so I think that they are one of the, I wouldn't say few teams, but one of the teams in this league that take the most advantage of the shorter rims. I like the way they're really aggressive. They don't take too as many threes as some of the other teams, so they really take advantage of their size, and that's going to be, I think, an outlier against other teams in the playoffs. They can need to be aggressive because the three ball is not always going to fall. And I think that they do a good job of recognizing that they have a better chance of going inside rather than shooting from outside the arc. So just another great win for Get Money. And for Syndicate, uh, there's not too much to say about them, but another good showing from Eric Moore and Mikey Fuller. Eric Moore had 23, Mikey Fuller had 20, but just it's an unfortunate way to end the season. But hopefully they can have a better performance next week when the playoffs start. But again, just for Get Money, another great performance.
Yeah, I think for Get Money here, it's kind of a get right game going into the playoffs because they've been kind of hit or miss the last few weeks. I feel like they haven't had a full team some of these games. They lost to Lord's Army, which was an upset in my opinion. They shouldn't have lost to Lord's Army. No disrespect to them, but that's just when you're a team that goes to the championship in multiple seasons, you shouldn't lose to a team that doesn't really have it together like Lord's Army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just one of those things. When you have a player MVP candidate like Kyle Davis, who's I mean, in my opinion, is one of the top 3 players in this league. If I mean, you top 5, no matter who's in your top 5. I mean, he's there. But yeah, Kyle Davis, former Finals MVP. He knows how to get it done. Um, but yeah, they like you said, they're a team that takes advantage of the low rims, like you said. They like to attack and run, and they play physical pretty week in and week out, and they're one of my favorite teams to watch, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I like them. I like them going to the playoffs, and like you said, I mean, not much to talk about this game. 88-56. Syndicate, pretty disappointing season in my opinion. I thought they would at least win a few games. But yeah, so I guess now we'll get into what everybody wants to talk about is the playoffs. Playoffs are next week. How are you feeling? Did you like this was your first season, obviously, watching in Legacy. So how did you like your first season? Anything you want to put out there?
Nah, it was great. It was the I think the difference obviously when I'm watching basketball is that the rims are regular, but obviously we got 8 foot rims, so everybody can dunk, and you can see like the best clips, like alley-oops and all that. So just throughout the course of the season, it was really cool to see some good basketball, and also just seeing like some of the best clips that you wouldn't normally see when you're playing on regular rims. So it was just a great season. So
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, there's a lot of great players in this league. I feel like there's a lot of really talented basketball players. Like there's players like Quan Jackson who could dunk on 10 foot and playing in legacy league. So it's, I mean, it's like dunking on a Little Tikes hoop as a kid. I feel like is what Quan's out there doing. But yeah, I mean, now we'll get right into this though. So what are your thoughts on the playoffs now? Who do you think? Do you think anybody's? Do you think we're on a collision course for TMC and Flint, or do you think somebody else is gonna sneak in there? What are your thoughts there?
so I can't see. I don't think I can see anyone upsetting TMC, but I will say this: if Eric Langston is not there, or he's not to the level where I used to hear he was playing before, then TMC could be potential for losing to an upset. But other than that, I can't see Flint or TMC getting upsetted.
Yeah, I think like you said. I mean, Flint is gonna play the winner of Lord's Army and Syndicate in the first round. I don't see either. As we just saw this past week, Lord's Army put up 100 and still lost to Flint. I mean, the only thing that worries me about Flint is a little bit is they did give up 100 points. So obviously, I mean, they probably took their foot off the gas on defense a little bit, but that's not something to play around with in the playoffs, giving up 100 points. Because if you come out flat, you know what I mean. It's gonna be interesting. And I mean, as I've been saying all year, Flint's got to prove me wrong here. They're a team that goes undefeated and blows it in the playoffs. So they they're gonna try. I think, in my opinion, I'll go first and I'll let you go into your bracket. I think Get Money and Flint is gonna be the semifinals on that side. I think Get Money is going to. I think that's going to be a really tough opponent for them because I don't think there's anybody on that team that can guard Kyle Davis. Not that there's anybody on Get Money that could stop the trio of Fink, Bizzuto, and Quan. But I think Kyle Davis, as we've seen, can drop a lot of points. I think his career high is like 68 or something like that. So obviously he get hot in a hurry. The other side's going to be TMC. I think it's gonna be chalk. I think it's gonna be Snipe Squad, TMC. It's gonna be the top four seeds. Gonna be in the semis. I think TMC. It's gonna be TMC and Flint, and I think TMC will win the championship because I think they'll all show up. I think Pratt is gonna be a key. I think Eric Langston's gonna show up, and because if Reggie has 30, Langston shows up, and Pratt scores. I think that's the key because I think their best lineup in the finals is going to have to be it's going to be Reggie, Pratt, Eric Langston, and Dave Armstrong, and I think that can go toe to toe because of their size in that lineup. I think that's going to be too much for Flint down the stretch, and I think that I think it's going to be close, but I think TMC wins the championship. What do you think? What's your bracket looking like over there?
So yeah, I got Flint beating Lord's Army. I think Lord's Army is they're much better than their record shows. Just unfortunate that early on in the season they weren't able to figure out, but as of late they've been playing really well. So I think they'll give Flint a little test. Like this past week it was close from second to quarter, but I think ultimately Flint will pull away. So I'll give Flint the win there. Uh, Get Money versus NMB. I think I got Get Money advancing from that game as well. But I think ultimately like you mentioned, the trio of Bazzuto, Fink, and Quan Jackson is just going to be too much for Get Money. But it'll be another good test for them, of course. So I got Flint in the finals, and then going over to the other side of the bracket, Street Ballers is going to be a good test for TMC as well. I think they're another team that is much better than their record shows again, but I think if Eric Langston is there, Reggie Stewart is there, and the others are contributing, then TMC. I still got TMC taking that win, and then I would take Snipe Squad over Lux Gang as well, and then I have Snipe and TMC in my semis, that's a tough game because I wasn't high on Snipe Squad to begin the season, but as of late, what I've been seeing from Tim Case, I think he could also be in contention for MVP because he's he's one of the players that's like really aggressive in this league. I barely ever shoot him threes, and when he's driving down the lane, I don't know if there's anyone that can stop him, but he's gonna need to have a big performance to have any chance of beating TMC, but I just can't. I haven't seen anything from TMC where I wouldn't pick them. So unfortunately, I'll have to go with TMC and Flint in the finals, and I'm gonna have to take Flint because all season, Fink, Jackson, and Bazzuto, they've been consistent all season long, and I can't see it when it matters most that at least they're gonna fall apart. And like we saw, we've already seen Flint beat TMC this regular season, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Flint taking it all.
I mean, you can't go. I don't think you can go wrong with either choice.
Yeah.
I think most of the interns and everybody's going to be in agreement. That's going to be all the fans. I think it'll be Flint, TMC, the finals. I just can't go against. Those are my boys on that team. Pratt, Langston, Reggie. I've been around those guys for 10, probably about 10 years now. So it's hard. It's hard for me to pick against them. Honestly, in my opinion, I think dark horse for Finals MVP is going to be Davon Pratt. I think you got to watch out. I think he's going to have a big game against Flint, and I think that is going to be the key to them hoisting that trophy again. There's a lot of champions on that TMC team. If you look at, you see the back of their jerseys every week. Pratt's got 4, Reggie's got 3. I think Eric's got 4 too. There's not as many trophies around the rest of the league besides that on the TMC team. I think there's a lot of guys that have 1 or 2. You know what I mean? So it's not. There's a lot of championship experience on that roster, and I think that's going to be really the key against Flint. But like you said, I mean Flint with the big three of Bazzuto, Fink, and Quan. It's going to be it's the marquee matchup everybody wants to see. They want to see the rematch. They want to see it happen again. Hopefully, Greg won't be on here in his little Flint jersey at the end of the season. I'll be on here regardless. I'll come on Flint if Flint wins, and I'll take it like a man and admit I was wrong. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong. I mean, you never know. I mean, if I'm wrong, then you're right, I guess. We'll look at it that way. I would say I think Connor picked Get Money from the beginning of the season, and I know Greg picked Flint. Greg is always on Flint. Be cool, like I was telling you before we started recording. If it would be cool to see like Snipe Squad against Get Money in the finals, a little something different. But I just don't see it happening. I don't know. Any predictions you got? Who do you think is going to be Finals MVP? Obviously you think it's going to be somebody from Flint.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Mike Bizzuto. These past couple weeks, he's been shooting lights out, and if he continue, imagining he's gonna continue to play the same way. So if he continues to shoot like that, he's on his way for Finals MVP. But if not, if he tends to have a bad shooting performance, I would actually take Quan Jackson because it's hard for him to have bad games because he's again another one of the players where he's very aggressive in this league. So it's kind of hard to imagine that he's not going to be scoring, and he also gets big rebounds and assists as well. So I would say either if Mike's not having a big shooting performance, then Quan Jackson would take the MVP. But
I think that's another good choice. I think Quan Jackson is probably one of the favorites to win MVP for the whole league this season. I I don't know. I didn't get to, Joe doesn't let me cast a vote, so I'm not really sure who is even on the list of people that. Who did you vote for MVP?
Who did I think I voted? I think I voted Mike, if I remember
Mike
correct.
Bizzuto.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of the three off Flint. I mean, Reggie would have been a good choice. Who else? I mean, like you said, maybe Tim Case, a player like that, or Kyle Davis. Any of those guys really are probably the favorites to win MVP. I mean, there was the guy Lux game that averaged 37.
yeah, Trayvon Jones.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, if they had a better record, he would have been right up there,
yeah,
MVP. I think. I mean, it was a great season, another great season. Uh, cap tip to Joey. Another phenomenal Legacy League run so far. Hopefully the playoffs don't disappoint. I don't want to see any blowout. You know what I mean? When the good teams play each other, I want to the semifinals games. I want to see two like back and forth battles.
Yep.
Maybe an overtime game. Maybe the finals will go to like triple overtime. Something you know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
see like a like a Reggie Stewart buzzer beater to win the championship, like how they had Eric do it a couple seasons ago. Just something we want to see some chaos, right? Or maybe an upset, maybe Syndicate and Enterprise is Elite in the finals. Maybe we'll see that. Maybe, probably not, but anything else you want to shout out before we end here?
No, I got nothing much to say. Uh, just continue the great basketball that we've been seeing over the course of the regular season. And yeah, like Chris said, you want to see close games. You want to see crazy finishes. I mean, that's what the playoffs are for. So just put on a show for the fans, put on a show for us, and we're really excited for the playoffs to start.
All right. So I guess we'll end it there. Thank you guys for listening. No, like before, we know there's no Greg this week. Hopefully me and Racine held it down here. Hopefully they're not too mad that Greg's not here. I'm not really a fan of him on here because he roots for Flint, but but we'll move on. All right. Hope everybody has a great weekend, great week, and let's get into the playoffs. See you next week.